Oh, I see. You're back again. Well, we're gonna have a scary story today, and it's called The Rat from Hell. Hi you. Do you want a story? Well, let's have one, shall we? Sammy was an old girl who lived with her parents. She was lucky. Her parents were very relaxed people. She was 15 and her birthday was in 2 weeks' time. She loved to draw and paint. And being old, she could let her creative side flow into her appearance. She was in the last year of her school, and all she wanted for her birthday was a pet rat. She begged every day leading up to her birthday to her mum and stepdad. Please, can I get a rat for my birthday? She was never allowed a pet. Growing up, all her friends had cats and dogs and even rabbits, but her parents always had excuses after excuses on why it was a bad idea. Her birthday was on Sunday. It was the day before, so Saturday. She was wondering if her parents were going to give her the gift that she wanted, and wondering if she would be allowed a pet for the first time. She really hoped they'd just give in and let her have what she wanted. Her mum got in from work, her hair all messy. She smelled like hot oily chips. She worked in a fish and chip shop, so every day she would smell the same of disgusting, smelly, oily chips. All she could smell was her mum's body odour and the smell of the greasy chips, enough to put anyone off eating from a fish and chip shop ever again. Sammy said to her mother, "Mom, did you think about my gift?" Sammy started to daydream. She was thinking about the pet shop. The one along the road. It always had baby rats. And every day, Sammy would go inside the pet shop. Baby rats had always seemed to be peering into her eyes. When she gazed into the shiny tanks, the rats would be there with their twitching noses and making little sounds. Sammy looked over at her mum. Her mum seemed to totally ignore her. She was filling the wash machine with dirty clothes out of a bag. She looked very stressed. So Sammy asked her, "What's wrong, Mum?" Sammy's mum looked over at Sammy. "Daughter, you're going to be 16 on your birthday. Why do you want a disgusting, smelly rat? It's about time you grew out of your silly, childish ways." Sammy's heart sunk like an anchor being tossed into the ocean. So, Sammy's mum didn't like the way she was. Sammy was shocked. "Okay, fine," Sammy shouted. So her mother didn't like the way she was at all. Or was she just tired? Sammy ran upstairs to her room and stared out the window. She looked down to see the neighbours packing for a holiday. Lucky them, at least they're having a holiday, she thought to herself. She felt so unhappy. She just cried on her bed, sobbing as quietly as she could. She felt almost cheated by her mother. Evening time came. Sammy still sat on her bed. Sammy's mum came in. Sammy, me and your stepfather are going out to a restaurant tonight. Sammy got annoyed. Why did they get together the day before my birthday? Okay, Mum, said Sammy. Her mum then continues, there is popcorn and cake downstairs for you for while we're gone. Don't forget to call me if there's any problems. Fine, Sammy said. If you like, we can talk about your birthday gift when we come home this evening. Sammy didn't answer her mother this time. She just huffed. Sammy watched them drive away, still just sitting on her bed looking out the window. As soon as the car went, she saw something strange. She stood up, slowly got on her knees, and crawled towards the window to have a closer look. There was a figure wearing all black, holding a big box-shaped case. This figure didn't move like a human. It floated towards the house very slowly. A long black cloak and a black hood. Sammy had read about the Grim Reaper before. She read to see this figure meant there would be death. Why was he here? Why could she see him? Sammy got into a bit of a panic. She got goosebumps and all the hairs on her arms stood on end. Why the hell is this thing coming towards the house? The figure seemed to look up. Sammy hid. Damn, she whispered under her breath. All of a sudden, there was a huge knock on the door. Bang! 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 The last knock made Sammy scream. Bang! What should I do? She remembered her mum telling her not to answer the door to anyone she didn't know. So Sammy hid. Sammy walked slowly down the stairs and decided to hide in the kitchen behind the worktop counter. The banging started happening again. Bang! 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 Sammy still hoped that it would just go away. She took a knife from the kitchen drawer just in case it tried to get in. She sat waiting for an hour. It seemed to have passed by in minutes. She hadn't moved from the floor, sitting with the knife tightly gripped in her fingers. She didn't even realize how hard she was holding it until she tried to let go. Her hands were purple from the very hard grip she had on it. She was shaking when she stood, and she quietly walked to the window by the door. She moved the curtain slowly and peeked out the crack. She couldn't see anything there, just the darkness of the night. There was just a big black box by the door. What was it? Should she leave it? Very uncomfortable and clueless, Sammy was thinking about calling her mom. There's no one here. There's probably no point now. All of a sudden, the phone rings. This made Sammy very frightened. She jumped from the shock of the noise, wiping her face. She picks up the phone. Hello, Samantha. Did you enjoy your gift? The voice was very spooky and eerie. The phone starts making horrendous screeching sounds, and they hang up. Sammy tried to be brave. Walked over to the door. Sammy, trying to be brave, opens the door. There was a silk, shiny sheet over a big box. She pulls it off. Sammy was absolutely delighted. It was a cute, big, black rat. The most beautiful rat she'd ever seen. All the fear had disappeared. She almost wanted to cry with happiness as joy filled her heart. She dragged the big cage into her front room and sat on the floor, opened the cage. His fur was smooth and soft, and he looked clean, and he was very friendly, licking her hand very gently. "I think I will call you Shadow," said Sammy. She put Shadow back into his cage and carried the cage to her room. She was wondering if her mum had done this for an apology for shouting at her earlier. Sammy felt kind of tired after all the stress she had been through. She lay down on her bed, looked over at the cage, looking over at her new beautiful pet rat Shadow. Sammy woke in a panic. What the hell? She heard a very loud banging sound from downstairs and a woman screaming. She ran downstairs as quick as she could and then stood on something wet on the floor. She looked down. It was warm and red. This made her skin crawl. Was that blood? The blood was streaked along the floor, around the corner, into the kitchen. Sammy slowly followed the blood trails. "Mom? Dad?" Sammy shouted. Her heart was racing. She could feel it beating so hard in her chest. Suddenly, she saw Shadow, her new pet, sitting. It had grown in size. It was sitting on her mother's chest. It was massive, thick blood dripping down the rat's claws as it's digging through her chest cavity. The rat is eating her. The rat is eating her. The rat's teeth were tearing at the flesh of her throat with its large, razor-sharp teeth. Sammy ran out the door. What had she seen? What the hell was happening? She felt her pockets for her phone. It was still in her room. She ran as fast as she could to the neighbor's house and tripped and fell at the door. She stood up and started to bang. Then she remembered what she saw earlier. They weren't in. She saw them leaving for their holiday earlier. "Damn! Damn! Damn!" she shouted. As she turned around, it was dark. She felt very cold and frightened. She was all alone. She looked further around. Then she saw the dark, shadowy Grim Reaper figure heading towards her. The shadowy figure stopped in front of Sammy, then loudly shouted, "Happy birthday, Samantha!" He opened his cloak, and thousands and millions of rats all ran out of his cloak in a pile of black smoke. Then the rest of the story is just screams of Sammy being eaten alive. Well, I hope you enjoyed my scary, creepy tale. Poor Samantha. What horrible parents has she got? Well, they're not there anymore. Thank you so much for coming to watch my video. I hope I didn't scare you too much, and if you survive, come and watch my other stories. I hope you have a dreadful day. No, I mean it. A dreadful day. See you in your nightmares, maybe. Bye.